Okay. All right.
All right, there we go.
All right. Here we go. Rhythm and Soul Radio. I am Marco Nobles. We have our virtual studio open, and we are joined by Robert Hubbard Jr., who is the leader of Hubb's Groove. What's happening, sir? How are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself? How you
I'm
doing?
good. I'm good. I'm good. Now, does everybody just call you Hub? Do you prefer Hub,
Yeah.
Robert?
Well,
What is it?
so so here's what happened. I had a whole name, Robert Hubbard Jr. And 2010 maybe, it just went to Hub. So everybody called me either Mr. Hub or Mr. Hubb's Groove. I was like, what? So a lot of people don't know my first name, but I go so Mr. Hub or Hubb's Groove, or most of my friends call me Hub though, and they call my brother
Okay.
Hub, and they
Okay.
call my other brother Hub.
Oh, so it's
So yeah,
multiple
Hub is
Hubs.
fine.
So you say Hub, and everybody turns around.
Yeah, in the music, yes.
All right. Now, you
Yes,
you
sir.
are Hub's Group is your band. You are the drummer.
Yes, sir.
But you
Yes,
how
sir.
many instruments do you play? Do you play other instruments as well?
No, so I'm just a drummer by heart and trade, and then I'm a sound engineer also.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it starts out in the church doing both, and just carried on to my professional the way I make a living now. Um,
Right.
chief engineer, uh, uh, a trade I went to school for, and then I also went to school for music, but I went and took some recording classes, some audio engineering classes, and graduated with those. And so here I am doing it.
Right. So as Hub's Groove is, I guess, the third iteration of your band because you've been doing this for almost 30 years now. But
Yes,
Hub's
sir.
Groove, as
Yes,
I
sir.
understand, is like the third iteration of the band.
Yeah. Did we lose each other there? Hold on.
Yeah, it seemed like we lost each
What's
other for a
happening?
minute. Thankfully, we're recording. Um, I was
Okay.
asking, Hub's Groove is really the third iteration of the band, right? Or at least the third name.
Yeah. Yeah. Third name. So let me just go back a little further. So all through high school, I played in jazz groups, and then I went to college. And then when I came home from college, um, started a group. Well, I was playing with the local artists, but then I went on tour. I was out on tour with a show called Good Man Is Hard to Find. I toured with them for 2.5 years, where I met my wife. And so I met my wife, I guess in 1994. So 1994. And things got slow with that. But then, and so I came home for a minute after meeting my wife. Then we got married, came home for a minute. But then I got a chance to go out with a group called Changing Faces. And I toured with them. But that slowed up, and started a group called Moments Notice. And in Moments Notice, we had an all-star band. Um, we had a gentleman who played for Gerald Levert, for Jodeci, just to name a few people. Clifford Colson on bass. Cliff Colson on bass. He also toured with the Winans and the Winans Family Tour. And then we had my brother who was just fresh off the road with the gospel group called the Williams Brothers. And my brother toured with them for years, and then he later on went to Jodeci and played for
Okay.
Jodeci. Did that big world tour with Jodeci when they had Tupac and Biggie on certain shows. So my brother did that. So I had him in the group. Then we had two local guys who was young and up and coming. David Heeman on guitar, and then this young man who later on, this group called Pieces of a Dream stole them from us, Eddie Backus Jr. And that's our little joke. Pieces of a Dream stole it from us because the group Moments Notice got a chance to open up for them for Pieces of a Dream one day. and they fell in love with the band, the vibe, and one of the original bass player had moved to Cleveland and became friends with the gentleman, Eddie Baggins Jr. And then next thing I know, after we opened up, I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, they loved how we sounded. And next thing you know, they grabbed our saxophone player, and that was the first group. And people got to know us. The only reason we changed our name was because there's another group called Moments Notice that had the rights to it, and so we let that name go. We went to a group called Straight to the Point, which we don't. It just lasted for a few years, called Straight to the Point, and that was long. That was the same core group, but we just changed the name for a minute, and then we went to Change on Five, and Change on Five was a unique situation. Excuse me, because I was the owner, but we had two other owners of the group that were non-musicians, were businessmen. And the great thing
Mm,
about that was I got a chance to learn the business of music
mm.
and booking events, and it was great. And I still give kudos to these two gentlemen for allowing me that experience. Because most musicians, we just do the music thing, and we have no
Right.
clue about how to make other stuff work. And so I was a young guy with these guys. They probably maybe 10 years older than I, but they businessmen, and they was doing events. Only reason it didn't work out was a financial situation, was because they was non-musicians, and they needed to be compensated, but everybody was coming through us to book us, and it just didn't work out, and it rubbed them the wrong way, rubbed us the wrong way, and so that didn't work. So after that, it started falling apart. I had used the name Hubb's Groove prior to all those bands in Pittsburgh, PA, and actually, I think I used the name Hubb's Groove because we needed some. They wanted my name with the thing, and I said, "Well, I like Hubb's Groove," and I used it one time. I'm trying to think what year it was. I want to say it was '96 or '97 when I used that name. Now, and then this is all the way now. We from that was like '96, '97. I used the name one time in Pittsburgh. Then the next time you would hear that name was like 2007, and I used Hubb's Groove. And 2006, I should say, we used Hubb's Groove is when we came to exist as Hubb's Groove. And quick story of first using that name, we did a big event, and then our next gig, I think after that, was a steady gig. I can't think of the name of the club, but it was in here in Cleveland Heights, and the great Gerald Levert stopped through and performed with us for about 30 minutes. And it was a small club, about 30 or 40 people, man, honestly. But Gerald Levert performed with us for like a 30 minutes on two songs. Two songs we opened up with. Then he ended the show with us with a Stevie Wonder, I believe All I Do. And when I tell you, it was like we was on tour. He was so that was his last performance before he passed away. And he poured his heart out to those people. And that from there on, the name Hubbs Groove stuck and started going up. And it's been a great ride. It's been a great ride.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's Rhythm and Soul Radio. We are talking with Hubb of Hubbs Groove. Um, now, are you originally from and based in Cleveland?
Yes, so I'm originally raised and born right here in Cleveland. Now, this is gonna trip you out because I my heart, my desire was always to live in New York, anywhere in New
Oh,
York. I
wow.
did a right. So here's and then but being married, I had an opportunity. I had moved my wife is from North Carolina. Moved my
Okay.
family back to North Carolina because I was gonna come to New York. This guy named what is his name? I don't want to mess up. No, it ain't. So it's a great drummer named Dennis Chambers, but this guy name is uh, dang, I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, the brother was connected. He was playing with the late great Roy Ayers, and I had our band had
Mm,
just opened up for Roy Ayers. And he was impressed with my playing. He offered me this. He said, "Man, you actually need to be in the city, bro." He said it's several gigs that you can do up there because you can play. He says very few cats can play like you that are young. And he mentioned a great drummer named Little John Roberts, who's in Atlanta right now,
yeah,
who done played with everybody.
yes.
And I happen to know
Yeah.
him because we good friends. We was in competition with each other in high school, and we became very, very close friends back. This is in the 80s. So, I'm telling my age. This was in the 80s. And he said, man, he said, but you need to be in the city to get these gigs. He had talked to his wife and had a conversation, and they was gonna allow me to come and stay in New York, stay on the couch. He had some gigs lined up for me. I took a family business option, and to this day, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have did it, but I did. I mean, God's still good; He still blessed me. But I always wanted to move to New York. Then in uh 2006 when I started Hubbs Groove, I started doing runs up to New York, back and forth, and actually got that's when I first ran into Robert Glasper. It was crazy. It was like every show I was going to, he was sitting in the audience. And so when I see him now, he's like, "You look familiar." I was like, "You wouldn't remember if I told you," but we was pretty much uh, from the Blue Note. Terrence Blanchard was playing there. I'll go there to check out Terrence. Terrence remember me from high school. Robert Glasper pulls up. Go to the Jazz Gallery. Jeff Tane Watts, a jazz drummer, uh, played with Wynton and everybody. I go check him out. He's doing a tribute to Kenny Kirkland. I go in there, guess who's there? Robert Glasper. It just was like, it was crazy. I was like, and this is before everybody knew who Robert Glasper was. And so
Hey.
um, I got a chance. My big memory of going to come to New York was playing at this, I guess the Zinc Bar, I think Zinc Bar. It was a jam session. And man, so I had some memories. I got some good memories, but I love New York because it was my kind of
Well,
city.
that's awesome, and hopefully you'll be back up soon on another run. Um, I asked you about Cleveland because it seems like there are a lot of cities. Obviously, it's New York, there's Atlanta, there's DC, there's LA,
Mhm.
but there's something about Cleveland and Cincinnati to a degree in terms of musicians and music coming out of those areas. Is there anything that you can point to or that you feel that or you thought
So
of that kind of helps that?
yeah, so well, we feel like we the stepchild of so much music. You know what I'm saying? We don't get our props. So the guys are really digging into the music, the art forms, and taking it real seriously here. I mean, phenomenal musicians, and it just seems sometimes that we don't get the same opportunities as even Chicago or Detroit gets. And even though we have just the same caliber or even better, the same kind of level of musicianship, we don't get a lot of those opportunities. But lately, let me step back though. Lately, we've been making a lot of noise. And that's due to like guys really taking their craft seriously and learning the business. um, Now we have musicians that are on. We have three musicians that are out with Beyonce from Cleveland area, and then that made me really proud. And then to come to find out, we had a guitarist from Cleveland who's out with Taylor Swift. I was like, whoa, really? And so it's like, yo, we on some major, major hits. Not, and then we have a lot of guys who moved here from here to move to Atlanta that are in this area, from this area that I got a chance to rub elbows with that are now on major smooth jazz, R&B. and they might not have been as known in Cleveland, but they have moved out and moved away and making some noise. I think it's just due to Cleveland's a hard town to police. And you can say it that in, or they're spoiled. And what I mean by spoiled, because they get great talent here. So they're like, oh, we always see good talent here. So you have to be really, it's funny because it's hard for people to play here because they're like, even for the musicians that live here, like even myself and other guys who have moved away, we always like, man, when we go to other cities, they looking at us like, wow, and when we in Cleveland, like, oh, okay, yeah, you just as good as the other guy. We're like, wow, and they just make us feel. So Cleveland's a hard city, I say, because they kind of spoiled. They used to great talent, so they want you to do backwards, backflips and everything. And just to get a big response out of them. But it's a great city to develop your craft because they're gonna tell you if you're not good. They're gonna tell you if you're not
right,
doing it. And so
right.
yeah, and a lot of times we say it's the Lake Erie punch. But yeah,
There
it's
you
one of them
go.
cities.
Right. Well, I mean, certainly everybody should be pleased with Hubb's Groove and the current single "So Sick." Now, is this because I've had the single, but I'm not sure if it's part of a new album project or if you've been releasing singles along
So
the way?
yeah, so this is my first single. We reissued this single because I had this
Okay.
thing called Club Hymns, and I got it
Mm,
got a name from one of my buddies, and I made sure I said, "Are you using it? You train?" He's like, "No, go ahead." So I grabbed the name Club Hymns, and so this is one of the first singles. We got another one coming out real soon, but this is our first one I reissued and decided to try to really push it. Because sometimes you just release some stuff and you don't really push it. So I love the mix. I love the song, and it's really is so sick for me. We put a twist on it. I know the original is so sick of sad love songs, but this one is
hmm
just so sick of anything sad, anything you may be going through, depression, heartbreak,
mm,
um, financial hardships, and if you listen to the end of it, and it's a brighter, we playing a regular song at first, then we go into another part. Because we from the church, it's kind of like a worship kind of part. Like even though we going through that sad period, it's a better day coming out of it. And so the end of it gives you a sense of hope. Like, yo, yeah, it's a sad love song or sad whatever song or whatever you're going through, but it's going to get better. And so if when you listen to the song, that's what I haven't got a chance to convey that to a lot of people. The end of the song is like, we're not gonna stay sad all the time. We're gonna come on, rise on up, and have a joyous time. And that's what the end of and that's why you can hear the emotion out of him. And the saxophone player is now uh, the most recent new member of the group, the legendary group Pieces of a Dream. So he was with us also. He was he was back. He was doing some stuff out of Canton, and he got with us around the same time. Pieces brought him on, but now he was a side man, but now he's a part of the group, the legendary group Pieces of a Dream. His name is Tony Watson Jr. That's the saxophone player you hear featured on that single. We've been friends for a very long time, and I'm very proud of him. He put in the work. He put in the work, and phenomenal horn player. And we have a gentleman who's out currently. He puts bands together for the cruise ships, and he's currently out on tour with doing that. Named Jonathan Jones. He's our bass player. And then the young man on keys that you hear on keys is George Granville. He's a ordained elder, but he loves jazz. He loves music, and so he's still with me, doing great shows here in Cleveland. And he also used to be a side keyboard player, also for the group Pieces of a Dream. and he done
Okay.
work with a lot. And so that group of guys is like that. That was my core. We have now evolved. We got some new members. Um, but they still come in. Those guys when they're in town or available, they still come in and work with me. But this, I got some new projects. Hopefully, you'll hear in the next few months or whatever that we come out with our new band. Same keyboard player George Granville, but we have another gentleman named James Black who's on bass, and then of course, myself on drums, and this my little adopted niece, a young lady named Adriana Miller. We're bringing some vocals just to see, and we grabbed the old classic. I ain't gonna give it away yet, but we grabbed the old classic and put a little spin, our little spin to it, like I always do. Our old R&B song, I'm gonna put my own spin to it, and hopefully we get that out. But it's gonna be a part of this compilation of club hymns. That's gonna be yeah, because it's songs that people request in the club, and we just put our own twist to it. For some
Okay.
reason, that has taken off. We try to do a lot of original music, but then after they do our original music, they be like, "Hey, do you all know?" We're like, "Yeah, we know it." And so it always would happen like that. And so times are different. Like back in the day when I was coming up, all people wanted to hear was original music. But now this thing of like remixing old classics and making them great, not great again, but just putting your own spin to them. As long as they can hear the words, they can sing, sing to. They are fine. As long as you put, and then you put your own spin to it and make it your own. So that's what we did with this next single, and that's what we did with "So Sick." And
Right.
that's that's our little vibe in Cleveland, coming out of Cleveland.
All right. Well, we're definitely looking forward to more of the club hymns and the club hymn movement that I'm sure that's going to kind of take over. It already sounds like you'll have your own style that you've been able to coin of club hymns. Tell everybody how they can find you, follow you, social media, website, whatever it
Okay.
is.
HubbsGroove.com is where you can find Hubbs Groove. HubbsGroove.com. HubbsGroove.com. That's our website.
All right, Rhythm and Soul Radio, Hub of Hubbs Groove. Ronald Hubbard Jr. has been joining us in the virtual studio. We appreciate him taking the time. And now let's get into Club Hymn, So Sick from Hubbs Groove. Is Rhythm and Soul Radio.